feeling you get when it comes up.
go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia, Oceania, America's regional final champions. America's regional final champions. Here we go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia Oceania, America's regional final champions.
Open your mind. Open your mind.
Today, the Manufacturer Series is back. The top Gran Turismo drivers have been split into 16 teams of 3 drivers to represent the best in-class manufacturers of the planet here in Monaco.
Welcome along to Monaco, everybody, for the FIA Certified Gran Turismo Championship. It's now time for the Manufacturer Series World Final. My name's Chris McCarthy.
And my name is Jimmy Broadbent. We have 16 manufacturers fighting out for glory. Let's see who comes out on top.
Die große Schlacht der Hersteller auf der legendären Nordschleife mit Florian Strauß.
Und René Butler, wir kommentieren für euch live aus Monaco.
Bienvenue en ce deuxième jour de compétition ici à Monaco pour la Manufacturer Series, comme d'habitude avec Fabien.
Et aujourd'hui, on a 4 Français pour une revanche de la Nations Cup.
Une grande compétition implique de grandes responsabilités. Allez la team baguette.
Bentornati a Monaco, ancora una volta per la finale FIA GT Sport World Championship, questa volta squadre Manufacturing Series. Quale tracciato, Emilio?
L'inferno verde, il Nürburgring, un circuito che conosciamo molto bene perché tutto è iniziato da lì, quindi il cerchio si chiude, si parte.
Batallas sobre el asfalto, gradas que rugen, trabajo en equipo, pasión por el motor. Bienvenidos a la FIA Gran Turismo Championship. Soy Epsilon, para mí es un placer estar aquí con todos ustedes y a mi lado el grandísimo Lucas Ordóñez.
Hola Epsilon, hola a todos, aquí desde Mónaco, serie de fabricantes, final mundial, acción asegurada.
Boa tarde a todos, o meu nome é Eduardo Félix da Costa, estamos aqui no Mónaco. Hoje é o dia das grandes finais mundiais de Gran Turismo, o dia dos construtores. Ao meu lado, Filipe Albuquerque, vamos a isto.
Olá, boa tarde a todos. Ontem foi espetacular, hoje no Green Hell vai prometer.
Hello and welcome to the FIA certified Gran Turismo World Championships, coming to you live from Monaco. Yes, the Nations Cup semi-final is all done and dusted, but today it's going to mix up a little bit because we've got the Manufacturers Series.
Yeah, bit of a different dynamic going on today. Yesterday in the Nations Cup semi-final and tomorrow in the finals, the drivers are all driving for themselves. Today it's all about the manufacturers, as Julia said. Prestige on the line, of course, for them, but also they've got to work in a team. 3 men in a team and guys who have been used to bumping bumpers with each other. Now they've got to work together.
So let's take a quick look at the schedule for today and what's been happening. So today consists of 3 races. We've already had the first qualifying race. So this has already set the grid position for 7 to 16. We're now in the middle of the second qualifying race, which is going to give us the grid position of 1 to 6. After that's done, on to the final where there is everything at stake. Yeah, it's going to be good. Look at them, everyone's ready to go.
They're ready to represent. It's quite interesting, actually, because we've seen some of the drivers here for the Manufacturers Championship who weren't involved in the Nations Cup.
Yeah.
They were watching on from the sidelines yesterday, and today it's the opposite way around. Hey, guys, come on, look happy. Let's see some support. Okay, well, basically, listen, as you said, Julia, it's the top 16 manufacturers who are taking part this weekend in the global manufacturers rankings. We've got the top-ranked driver from each of our 3 regions to make up a 3-man team. Now, each of those teams has already chosen their driver for qualifying, the first part of which, as Julia said, has already taken place, and the top 6 is being decided right here, right now. Then it's a 7-lap endurance race. The guys are going to share the one car and obviously switch on the pit stops when tyre and, in particular, fuel strategies are going to be absolutely critical. Each driver must complete a minimum of 2 laps, so this is very much a team effort.
This is I don't know, this is not just about good driving. Now you've got all that fuel to go, and absolutely everything. And it's just a lot of variables. I don't know if I could cope.
Yeah, well, obviously with the different manufacturers, the different cars, there's a fair bit of difference between performance, some good, some bad. You know, they all kind of balances out really in the end. But also, as you said, with the strategies, I think some of these guys are looking at it thinking, well, actually, we can make up the difference on a fuel strategy or a tyre strategy, because if they get it right, it is going to make those crucial few tenths of difference.
I mean, it's a lot to take on board. It's very mathsy. I don't think I could do that.
These guys love maths. You can tell. Look at them.
I don't. That's a bit weird. Right, let's take a look at the qualifier standings and have a look at how things are laying out already today. So, first of all, right, this is the kind of tail end. So, yeah, these guys, their position on the grid is already set in stone. This is where they're going to be starting for that final race. And if we take a look at numbers, 1 to 8, so 1 to 6 there. These are guys are going to be competing right now, jostling to try and change that format so that they get a better grid position for the final.
Yeah, look how close the lap times were in between those top 6. And the big shock there is that Igor Fraga, who's driving for Nissan, and he's got Mikhail Hizal, who's the European champion. He's got Kokobun, who's the Asia's champion.
Yeah.
And also, he's the America's champion. So we've got the 3 region champions driving for Nissan.
One team, yeah.
Yeah, and he qualified 7th. So that's a big shock, actually, because those guys, understandably, were big favourites going into this. So it's kind of all mixed up now.
We've all got like Rubala as well, obviously, who came like first, and also we saw him. There we go. Yeah, we saw him at the Americas, and he always would be really, really aggressive, like really, really close to the end, and then something would go wrong, just a little mistake that would kind of mess it up a bit. But look at him now.
Yeah, well, he qualified for tomorrow's individual final through the repechage, finished 2nd yesterday, but he's right on form again today, absolutely.
Well, okay, I think it's really, really important to take a look at the actual track. So I believe you had a bit of an interview with the guys from Renault, is that right?
I did, yeah. It's a good one. Ready for the Nürburgring, our team Renault. Guys, what an exciting prospect for you guys. Such a legendary circuit. one you must have driven many times on Gran Turismo and dreamed of racing in real life. Miyake-san, let's start with you. Which area of the track do you most like to drive?
I like the final part because I give my best.
And how about you guys? Which areas of the circuit do you go well at?
For me, the best part of Nürburgring is the fast corner after the carousel, because you stay focused, because it's too easy to lose the control of the car.
And for you, Jorge, Miyake-san mentioned the final part of the circuit. It's enjoyable to ride, but also important to the lap time?
Yeah, obviously the last part is very important because you can win time. I also like the first sector because the corners are very tricky. It's too important to take the first corner in a good way, because if you go long in the first corner, you carry that mistake to the other corners.
That's an interesting point because it's a very long lap as well. So how do you approach such a long lap?
I drive to focus on the important corner, with a relaxed.
So you can relax on the straight and then really focus on the
difficult corner.
Yeah, sure. And if you do make a mistake, like you said, you can lose 5 seconds in one corner, but at least you have a lot of lap to
It's very important to don't lose the focus.
So stay concentrated, stay relaxed, stay positive.
The lap is very long, as you say, and I think it's very important try not to make mistakes, because you can do almost every corner in a good way, but if you go out in one corner, you lose like 4 or 5 seconds, and I think it's better maybe to lose 1/10 in every corner, but not to lose a lot of seconds due to a mistake.
That's great advice. Hopefully the other competitors are not listening to this. Good luck, guys. Yeah, historic Nürburgring. This is the Nordschleife North Loop track, built in the 1920s around the village and the medieval castle of Nürburg in the Eifel Mountains. Over 25 kilometers in length and more than 300 meters of elevation change. Jackie Stewart called it the Green Hell, and that name stuck, Julia.
That just sounds like gardening in my house. Well, anyway, we've run out of time now. Let's chuck it over to the second lap of the second qualifier and over to our commentators.
Thank you, Julia. Well, Jimmy, we are back for day 2, albeit for the Manufacturer Series World Final. So this, the first time we're going to crown a World Finals champion, and it's going to be one of our 16 manufacturers. We're in the middle of Super Pole, if you like, the top 6 shootout for pole position. This will form the grid from 1 to 6. We already know the grid from 7th to 16th. We had that qualifying session earlier. Jimmy, what were your thoughts of that as we got our first times coming in?
A couple of interesting scouts in that one, of course. As Matt and Julian mentioned, Team Nissan, who contain our 3 regional champions, failed to get through to the Super Pole this last 6 here, which was a big upset for them. Also, Team Chevrolet and the Corvette, they were thinking they'd be a bit stronger as well, and they were languishing down in 13th position. But we'll just very quickly come to the times we have in so far. An 803.1 for Porsche, bested by Toyota, an 802.3. Wow. Now, let me give you some context for those times, shall we? Compared to myself, a filthy pleb, 8:14 for me around here, 8:14 on this layout. For Florian Strauss, someone who's raced here in real life, 8:12, and of course these guys going 2 seconds quick for What will Mitsubishi do as they come across the line? They go for an 8-minute 3.5.
Impressive still. That is actually half a second quicker than the quickest time that was set earlier. So that a very, very good time from Toyota and BMW, 8:01.024. Nicolas Brubelard in the car for BMW. Just to give you an idea who else is out there, Derouche is in for Toyota, the French driver. Then for Porsche, we have Sugawara. For Mitsubishi, it is Shoga Yoshida, the Japanese driver. Then for Subaru, we have Miyazono, and for Lexus, it is Kawakami. So those are the 6 drivers that are out on track at the moment. They have one more lap to try and beat that time that has just been set by BMW.
Something to note, Chris, is at the moment you might think they're on soft tyres. They can't get another lap out of that. This is a very unique session, no tyre wear. So the tyres will last the entire lap, or they'll last forever if you keep going round. It does mean there is one more bite of the cherry for all teams out there at the moment. Will we see a sub-8-minute lap, I wonder? Only a second away right now. Lots of time around here. And the Nordschleife running the combined circuit, so it's in the GP circuit plus the Nordschleife proper. Tacked on to the back, so to speak. So at the moment, Subaru 3.5 tenths down on BMW, Porsche nearer to 6. That's a very, very strong time from Team BMW there.
And also, just to give you an idea, they were set off in intervals, no outlap. They were essentially, that first lap was their first flyer. They were set off on the straight just before we get to the main straight. So then they went for that lap. BMW out of that have done it 8.01. They had the privilege of going last because they were pole. The team that was across the line first were Lexus because they were 6th in the earlier qualifying session. Fuel is on 2 times consumption, so we should see quicker times this time around. However, from BMW, that is a very, very good time.
So the Mitsubishi driver there, that is, who is that driving the Mitsubishi, Chris?
It is Shogo Yoshida.
Shogo Yoshida. See how sideways he was there, coming down, or up to the flue paths. Now here is the BMW, who are only 2,000 slower than their first sector through there. Actually, they've gone up a little bit, sorry. 300s up, so they've got a little bit of time in hand. Now that's really a minuscule amount of time. That's getting on the throttle just a fraction later. Really, and there is our BMW driver.
He acknowledged the camera.
Yeah, Nick Rubler. Thank you for the nod there, Nick. That is Nico R. If you're wondering who that is on your PSN ID, you see the drivers there in the bottom left-hand corner studying the qualifying laps. And there's Cody in the background giving us away. Thank you, Cody. Here is Nico once more, looking very focused, but doesn't seem like focused, but not very dramatic, really, I think is a way to describe it.
There's championships out there, Jimmy, that do this Super Pole kind of format, but I don't think that's ever existed on the Nordschleife. How difficult is it to put 1 lap in around here that is really, really quick? Of course, they get 2 flying laps, one classed as almost an out lap, which they've done. However, BMW seem to go very quick out of it. But how hard is it to get that 1 lap?
It can be pretty difficult at the moment. You have to bear in mind that this is a long lap round it. As you said, very easy to make a mistake at just 1 corner, and that would be your lap done and dusted. There's been a point sometimes where you go wide, hit the curb, or hit a bit of grass, it drags the car off into the barrier, and that is 4 or 5 minutes loss. In fact, I saw the competitors practicing earlier on, and someone crashed second to last corner on the braking after the back straight, and that was very frustrating for them. Meanwhile, Lexus coming round now, 3 tenths down on the BMW. That's after 5 minutes of hard driving. Shows you just how close it is right now. BMW still up on their time, a tenth up at this point, 9 more tenths, and now get into the they'll get below, the 8-minute barrier. So not sure they're going to be able to manage that. But here is on board with Nico about midway around the lap at the moment. Corner, then you go back up. He'll try and be very easy on the throttle on this right-hander here. So easy to spin out of the change of elevation. Nico throwing it all the way over to the curb, really using it there in the BMW. I had some of the drivers telling me that the FR cars were pretty decent over the curbs compared to the MR cars. So a bit of an advantage there for the BMW. Very tricky late apex here. Again, run it to the left. Don't go too far left there. You think you've got a bit more space than you have. It's very easy to clip the grass and then go in to the inside wall. Here is Lexus once more, coming through the last sector now. What is that time? 6:11 to beat through this sector. Probably one of the more fun sectors on the track, if you ask me. A constant barrage of corners as you come through here. The front tyres towards the end, if you do have wear on, of course, get a little bit sketchy, but here the Lexus driver has no issues, nothing to worry about there at all. Coming up past the infamous corner where everyone has had crashes. 6 tenths the Lexus was down, and Subaru 3 tenths down.
Thank you, Jimmy. Right, so of course this is going to be the final laps we see. Here come Porsche, currently in 3rd place at the moment as they go into the right-hander. Are they up? Let's see at this stage of the lap how well they are going along. Porsche, of course, at this stage would have to be under 6:11, 6:12.1, so no, they are a few tenths down. What about Toyota? They are down as well, and I think they've had enough because they are significantly down on their time. So Toyota at this stage look like they're going to be second at best. Mitsubishi 8 tenths off at the moment from BMW.
We saw, though, in the qualifying earlier, Mitsubishi are actually pretty strong in the last sector, so we might see that come back towards the Japanese manufacturer. Meanwhile, it is still Nico Rubelar in the BMW putting down the gauntlet. He's looking very strong on this lap as well. And say that big sideways moment there as Chilean driver smashes the throttle, just trying to keep up the speed as much as possible. Of course, he is the last driver on track, so we should get the last time from him. It could be quicker at this rate. We'll wait for our split. You can see it yourselves in the bottom right-hand corner. He's half a second up at this point. He'll be well into the 8-minute margin. Can he go a little bit quicker and break the 8-minute barrier? I don't want to encourage that too much, of course. That might lead to a mistake, but it would be great to see.
Well, they've got that great first lap in, so in a way, I don't think a mistake would even be too much of a problem from them. But of course, they'll want to avoid any of that happening. Right, let's go back with Lexus, because they will be first to come across the line, and that will be happening now. Let's see if Lexus improve. Yes, they do. They're up to second place. 8:01.5 for the Lexus team, thanks to Kawakami. What a time that was.
There was good improvement from him, but we still have 5 cars yet to come. Of course, here's one of them, Mitsubishi.
And we've had Subaru, sorry to cut you off there, Jimmy. They've just come across the line up to third, 8:01.570. So Subaru up to third place.
We do expect to see quicker times because they are on less fuel. Just looking at my timing on the left, here comes Porsche. Do they improve? No, they do not. So a mistake on that lap from Porsche. Here comes Toyota. We know they were a little bit slow, so they are very unlikely to improve. Look in the background, though. Another car's coming through. It'll be Mitsubishi and BMW coming. There's still the Toyota driver giving it everything he's got. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be any faster. Comes across the start-finish line. And surprise, surprise, 8 seconds down. So now we cast our eyes back to Mitsubishi. They are 1.1 seconds down. It will be a big improvement for them if they can get to the end of the lap, but pole seems to be off the table here. So what's it going to be for the Japanese manufacturer? Comes across the line, and it is going to be an 8 minutes 2.2. They go up to 4th place, I think. Chris, only BMW left. Here they come.
Let's see what Rubelar does. He's coming across the line now. Bang! 8:00.067. What a time from Nicholas Rubelar. And a round of applause from everyone around the stage here. What a time from Nicholas Rubelar to put the BMW on a very, very comfortable pole position. What did you make of that one?
So close to breaking the 8-minute barrier. I'd be disappointed about him.
I think he is. Yeah.
Sam didn't quite make it, but of course, in hindsight, even though you look at that, he did a fantastic job. And to be that far clear of the competition in a field this strong, I mean, you can't argue against that, can you?
Yeah, he just wanted to break that 8-minute barrier. I think that was going through his head the whole lap, wasn't it? As you said, how much of a big thing, to give some of our viewers perhaps a chance, an idea, who haven't really driven the Nordschleife so much, how big of a thing is that?
I mean, getting around there in one piece of a lap time like that, it really takes a lot of effort, a lot of practice, and of course, a lot of skill. Again, I gave the example. These guys are about 15 seconds a lap faster than me round here, and I consider myself to be an okay sim racer. But these guys are aliens.
Well,
aliens through and through.
Well, now qualifying is done. It's time to go into the 7-lap race. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it is all about, the FIA Gran Turismo Championships for 2018. Here we go then, and we're off away in racing. Who's going to emerge from the lead in all of this? What a fantastic move, but the race is not over yet.
Oh, it's over!
He has to keep them at bay. Oh, but he's running a bit wide. They're still side by side.
This is fantastic driving.
Can't ask for much more than that.
See, that second qualifier makes all the difference. Well, certainly for Lexus, it makes like a huge difference there.
Yeah.
Like we're saying, there's a huge amount of different factors to consider with this. You know, fuel, tires, drivers, everything. I suppose like the drivers switching places is probably one of the biggest things. You lose an awful lot of time there easily. So why don't we take a look at how the professionals do it?
Driver swap, that's going to be the most important thing.
He's into the pit lane, the driver change is taking place. Tactics, very, very important in this one.
I think the team strategy for Team Subaru should be to make sure that we select the right driver position seating. We have varying driver heights with our team, so we need to make sure that the driver is comfortable in the seat. And also, we need to make sure that the incoming driver selects the right tire compound, because if we select the wrong one, it'll ruin our entire race.
とにかく、ミスのしないように、時間は十分にあると思うので、とにかくミスをなくして無事に交代できるようにしたいと思います。
We are likely to send the taller guy in first, and as me and the other drivers are quite the same height, we might use the same seat settings. It's the best way because we don't have to adjust the seat too much time.
このドライバー交代をスムーズにこなすためにも、事前に練習をしていち早く自分のペースに持っていけるような、そんな風に頑張っていきたいと思います。
The pit stops going on. Let's see how the positions do change.
And really just getting a quick expedited pit stop done is going to be key to getting back on track and really nailing the last couple laps of the race.
That's a lot of pressure of getting out of a car seat and not falling over.
That is fascinating. There's more to it than you think. Hey, the big thing for me, though, is what would you go for? The high five, fist pump?
I wouldn't. I'd just shove the other guy out of the way.
I'll just
Get
give
out of
a
the
push.
way.
Yeah. Don't try it up here with me.
No. Let's take a look at some of the other variables that we got into play. So, yeah, let's take a look at some tyre strategy here as well.
Yeah, well, as the guys were saying there, of course, you've got soft, medium, and hard tyres in this race, but there's only 3 drivers, so, you know, you've got 2 laps on a soft tyre, 3 on a medium, and 4 on a hard, so they're going to have to decide which driver is going to go on the soft, which is going to go on the medium, which is going to go on the hard. They've got to decide that well in advance. It's an 8-minute lap as well, so it's not like you can make any last-minute decision.
Yeah.
And, of course, obviously, with the different tyre compounds, they're going to cost you time on the lap as well. Fuel strategy, even more interesting, I think. A full tank is around 100 litres. That's going to last you 3.5 laps. A pit stop is 4 seconds plus 1 second per 3 litres of refuel. The guys have got to try and work all this out, Julia, because they've got a strategy. Do they want to go light to go fast? Do they want to go heavy and have better endurance? And with the differences between the cars, as I said at the top of the show, I think, this is where I think some of the drivers are looking at this and saying, all right, well, we might not have the best performance car, but we can make it up on things like fuel strategy and tyres and stuff. You know, there's a lot to be gained there.
It's very, very complicated.
I know.
So I'm sure these guys have their strategies already planned out, but we'd like to know what you guys at home, how would you manage your fuel consumption? Because, I mean, for me, sometimes you have a busy day, you want a really big breakfast, but it makes you sluggish in the morning.
Great analogy. Yeah, you don't want to be snacking all day.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a technique. Maybe you're a snacker. That's how your car works. I don't
Depends
know.
how close you live to the shop.
It's very true. Let's go on socials
Anyway.
on FIA GTC or hashtag GT Sport as well, and we'll pick that up a little bit later on. But before we do that, let's take a look at the machines they're going to be running around in and filling them up with all that delicious fuel.
Yeah, once again, it's Group 3 cars, so you guys know all about this already. But the interesting thing here is that rather than being allocated the cars on a random basis, as they were yesterday for the Nations Cup, these guys are a serious kind of, you know, they have links to the manufacturers. Some of them have even signed for the manufacturers. These are the cars that they've spent hours and hours in at home in order to become the manufacturer's top-ranked driver in their respective region. As I said, some are different to others, of course. For the manufacturers with multiple selections in Group 3, the BMW is going to be the M6 GT3, the Toyota is the FT1 Vision Gran Turismo, we've got the Volkswagen Beetle, the Merc is going to be the AMG GT3, and the Lexus is the RCF GT3. So we're just about ready to race now. We're going to pass over to our commentators very shortly indeed. But before we do that, we ask everybody within here in the auditorium to please show your respects to the national anthem of Monaco.
Well, national anthem now complete, Jimmy. It is time to go racing. I think it's time to get your thoughts ahead of this one, of course. Matt and Julia, they're touching on tyre strategy and fuel strategy as well. We had a little practice on the rigs earlier today. Well, what are your thoughts on those?
It seems that a lot of the teams just trying to use the hard tyre as little as possible, given that it's a slower tyre, of course. But we always say of these races, if you're leading from the front, best to bolt on the softs and get out of there, get an early lead and get away from the rest of the pack. Of course, if you are in said pack, not really a great idea to be on the softs and waste that tyre life, especially around here. Passing around the Nordschleife is very well known to be difficult. We were talking to Florian Strauss earlier, a fellow who's actually raced the Nordschleife, and of course, a very own Lucas Rodnez on the Spanish commentary booth as well. Both say passing there's a bit of a nightmare, so soft tyres if you're back in the pack, probably not a great idea.
Well, let's remind ourselves, shall we, of the results from the top 6 qualifier, and there they are for you. Team BMW on pole position, Lexus second, Subaru third, Team Mitsubishi were in 4th place, and it was Team Toyota and Team Porsche. BMW, I'm sure, will bolt on those soft tyres. They have 3 compounds to use, racing hard, medium and soft. And they have to use all 3 compounds throughout the race. So the drivers has to decide which driver is going to go on which tyre and when. Jimmy, what do you expect from this one in terms of our teams? Anyone's to look out for down the back of the field?
I mean, it's, of course, the obvious thing to say will be Team Nissan. They're starting in P7, just behind the Superpole guys. So they'll be looking to try and improve their position somewhat. I'm just looking over to see who's actually in the car for them. Can't see him on stage right now. I think it's going to be Kokibon, our Asia Oceania regional champion, will be starting the race for Team Nissan. We know what he's capable of. Very consistent driver. Very rarely makes mistakes, so I think we'll see him come through the field. Of course, Ferrari will be looking to do a little bit better than they did in qualifying. P13 all the way down the bottom. Of course, Aston, I think it was Aston 9. Well, so it was Ferrari, so I've got the wrong results up here. Ferrari were down the bottom in 8 minutes 10, so they'll be looking to try and improve a little bit from there.
Well, in terms of some of the other teams just around them, Lexus, it will be Kawakami who jumps in the car. BMW, it will be Okamoto who will go off pole position. But let's go through the grid one more time before we get into the race. Okay, it's time to go racing for the Manufacturer Series World Final. Let's get through the grid. 16 teams lined up on the grid for you. Starting on pole position is BMW. Okamoto in the car for them. Then we come to Kawakami, who will be driving the Lexus in the first in. For Subaru, it is going to be Miyazono out in the car. For Mitsubishi, we have Jay Skaruda, the American. So it looks like we may be coming back to that grid in just a second, but that is no problem for me because that gives us a little bit more time to reflect on qualifying. We didn't have a huge amount of time. One team we did want to talk about, which I spoke about earlier, was Chevrolet. Now, they expected to be very good in this race due to tyre wear, I believe it was. So Chevrolet, does that come as a surprise to you? Do you think they're ones to watch?
I'm not really sure. They're saying they're good on tyres, and they need to really make that known actually during the race itself. Of course, in qualifying isn't really about saving tyres. It's about going at it full chat. That's why we have the attacking drivers, as they're known, taking to the field. But as it stands now, they were 3.5 seconds off the pace of the leader. Not really what you expect from a team who think they have a good chance.
Well, you've heard from the Jimmer himself.
The Jimmer.
Why don't we hear what Lewis Hamilton had to say, 5-time world champion, when he dropped in to speak to the drivers yesterday.
A warm welcome, please, to the 5-time Formula One world champion and the Gran Turismo Sport Maestro, Lewis Hamilton.
What motivates you to just keep pushing? Is it this pursuit of perfection?
Naturally, it's never going to change that I'm competitive. So whatever I do, super competitive. It's the same in everything. And yeah, I feel every year is a chance for you to prove to yourself, if anything. I don't try and prove myself to other people because I don't feel I need to. I know what I have within myself, and I've got this opportunity. So I just keep chasing, like you're saying, that perfection. Those perfect laps. Like Singapore this year, it was the most beautiful lap that I've done up until now. And so I'm constantly chasing that, you know, that feeling. And of this time in this space, I have an opportunity to potentially be the greatest, and that's what I'm working on. So.
Well, Lewis Hamilton, of course, dropping in yesterday. What did you make of that, Jimmy? That was a brilliant experience, wasn't it?
I got to say, it was a little bit surreal seeing him just waltz in like he'd been here many times before, I must say. But great to have him here. Great to have him to talk to our drivers as well. Always good to have a 5-time Formula 1 World Champion give you a little bit of advice, isn't it?
Yeah. What did you take away from it yourself, Jimmy? I have to ask.
I took away that I could never be a Formula 1 driver, basically. Nowhere near the talent for that. But you know, maybe I'll just sit here and talk instead. I seem to be all right at that, so I'll keep that going for now instead.
Well, one thing I did find interesting is that he actually enjoys the game more than the Mercedes simulator. That was quite cool to hear.
He was saying that actually playing the game is a bit more relaxing for him. The simulator can come with a couple of different issues. You don't have to really put a lot of mind and attention to set up, etc. He says in GT Sport, you can sit down, get into a car straight away and just drive it and enjoy it just like that. And that's pretty cool to hear. Having a pretty good endorsement, I think, isn't it?
Well, if you weren't able to join us yesterday, there was some crazy racing, and along with it, some crazy reactions. Check this out.
Oh, okay. Well, it's there's no voiceover there, but there's Mick Hazal looking quite relieved after his win. There was Igor Fraga. You can see a big sigh of relief, a little bit of sweat there on Karatsa's forehead. I don't blame him there. I've driven there. There was Jack Lamloy, that's fairly happy at that. And
very sweaty.
We'll get a towel for him and Cody, I think. But you see Cody, number one.
He just for the cameras.
Knows he's pretty good there. And you see just below us there, look at that beautiful Mercedes concept down there. If we go anywhere near that, a very big man in a suit comes and says, go away, please. This is mine. Don't go anywhere near this. Don't get your grubby mitts all over my shiny car.
If we want that tested, I think we go to Alberto down in the...
Yeah.
or Florian Strauss, just next door.
Yeah.
When we get one to test it, I think they'd have a better chance than us. Speaking of racing, have you ever had, during your live streams or anything, any crazy reactions like that from yourself?
I mean, from me, it tends to be a lot of words that I can't actually repeat on stream. Luckily, I'm not racing today, and luckily there's no mic for these guys down here. Because when you're in the heat at the moment, I'm sure you know, Chris, you've done karting in the past. When you have no one listening to you, you tend to you tend to just let that stuff out. Just it's an easier way, I think, of dealing with the pressure of driving.
Well, one thing I think it does show is they're all chasing this. That trophy you can see on screen now, and that's why we're getting some of these reactions. They're fighting for a world final title, the first world final title. We actually had a presentation on this trophy exactly, and fantastic. The amount of work that's been put in to get that trophy built and here is amazing. I think usually when you go to an event, it's just a cup, a classic cup, so to speak. But that trophy is very unique, and I think very suitable to an event like this.
Now, I tell you what, when I first started playing Gran Turismo back in the day, my little 4x3 monitor with the PS1 controller without analog sticks, I never thought I'd be part of an FIA certified series. It goes to show just how far racing has come, how far Gran Turismo has come, and how far esports have come in general. Absolutely fantastic. But now, back into the race. Let's get it started once more.
It is World Finals time here in Monaco. The Manufacturers Series title will be decided over the next 7 laps around the Nordschleife. On pole position, BMW. Okamoto will drive the car in the first stint for them. Then we have the Lexus, which will be driven by Kawakami. Coming up next, it's Subaru in third, Miyazono behind the wheel in the first stint for them. Then we have Team Mitsubishi, Jace Garuda, also known as Z28. They're feeling very confident today. They go off fourth. Going off fifth is Derouche for Toyota. Then we have the Porsche team in sixth. Sugawara will start the race for them. 7th place, a surprise to see Nissan out of the top 6, but Kokibun will try to make up some progress early on. Then in 8th place, it is Buka for Aston Martin. 9th place, then it's the VW. Derber, we hope we're saying that right. I did ask him in a lift, but I hope I remembered it okay. Puskedu is going to be off 10th for Team Dodge. Then Honda in 11th place with Leon Hart behind the wheel. In 12th, it's the Mercedes-Benz. Ed Williams will start the race for them. 13th place is the Chevrolet. Potential ones to watch. Lewis Bentley starting for them. Then in 14th is the Renault with Jorge Lopez. Went very well in the Nations yesterday. Let's see how he goes with his team today. Likewise, Jeffrey Gallen, very strong yesterday. He's in with Team Citroen in P15. Shirakawa, a lot of work to do from the back of the grid in 16th place for Ferrari. Well, 7 laps ahead of us, 2 stops required, and we are going to decide the first World Finals champion. Which manufacturer it will be, we'll find out over the next hour or so. Over to the start then, to talk you through it, it's Jimmy Broadbent.
I'll tell you what, Chris, I'm glad we aren't doing a full outlap here at the Nordschleife. We'll be here for quite a while, I think, but it's Team BMW leading the way. So right now, drivers will be thinking about the strategies they've come up with their teammates, making sure everything is right with their seat. Of course, driver swaps on-site, driver swaps happening here as well. That's always something to keep in mind. But the BMW rounds the final corner, coming onto the pit straight now. Okamoto will lead us away for 7 laps of the green hell. The drivers, are they going to be up to the challenge? Well, there's no other drivers in the world with this sort of talent, so I'm going to say yes. Here we go then. 3, 2, 1, and BMW lead the way here for the Manufacturers World Final FIA GT Championship. The cars snake down the straight, getting in the slipstream straight away, so attacking strategies. Interesting enough, BMW choosing to start on the medium tyre and not going with the soft to try and get away early. Lexus in the background sliding through T1. A very difficult right-left through there. Lexus in the background have a little bit of a slide there, actually. I think lost out a tiny bit to Subaru behind, who's now gone to the inside to attack Team Subaru right on the back of Team Lexus. But right now it's BMW, Lexus, Subaru, Mitsubishi holding 4th position with Toyota 5th and Porsche in 6th.
Interesting tyre choices. BMW going for the medium tyre, which is the complete opposite thing we kind of expected. Lexus and Subaru hassling them to get past because they have put their soft tyres on and they want to get away and clear. Toyota go past Mitsubishi, who are also on the medium tyre. We've got the likes of Honda, Chevrolet, Renault, Citroen and Ferrari all on those racing hard tyres, but the leaders make their way through the chicane. A change from 5th place. Porsche also going past Mitsubishi. Lexus now looking to the outside of BMW, trying to take the lead early on. Can they get it through the right-hander? They're going to dive down the inside. BMW, oh, there's contact was there, and Lexus have gone through, I think. Yes, they are. They're into the lead.
It's going to be a drag race, Chris.
Subaru.
Drag race now down the straight. The next corner is a left. The BMW really needs to stay ahead, and it doesn't. It falls behind the Lexus. For its strategy, it needs to stay ahead and hold up the Lexus on that medium tyre, but Lexus is now going to be free, and Subaru needs to get by as well very quickly. They want to stay with Lexus on that soft tyre. So coming on to the Nordschleife proper for the first time. We have first of 7 laps here at the Green Hell. Coming down towards Hatzenbach now. It's Lexus, BMW, Subaru, followed by Toyota and Porsche. Mitsubishi down to 6th position, so a poor start there for Jace Garuda, but he is on the medium tyre, so it's unsurprising to see him fall back through the GP section now. Getting, a bit of a slide there from BMW, getting things nice. Oh, hello, wait a minute, Nissan. I guess our favourites with the top 3, the regional final champions, all in that car, have already picked up a 6-second penalty. How have they managed that?
Chevrolet have also got a penalty, and Citroen, you'll see that notified by the red dots that appear. The only thing the red dots don't tell us is how much the penalty is. Oh, going airborne there was Lexus. That was good to see. They are really pushing it as a BMW are now starting to hold up Subaru, Toyota and Porsche who have joined the party.
So we have at the top right, you see the graphic there, ×2 fuel consumption, ×2 tyre wear, hard, medium and soft, all must be used at some point in the race. Toyota looks to the outside of Subaru, not quite a place to pass there. Now heavy braking down into the right hand, and we now fall down. BMW, and they're off and they've spun. Our pole sitter is off into the gravel and falls down the grid, down to 12, down to 13, 14, 15, and only one manufacturer, BMW, go from first at the start of the race all the way down to 16th and the last. And here and there you go, already under investigation. BMW Subaru. Here's the replay, Chris.
Well, let's see what Subaru did then. And that just looked like a move that was never going to happen. It is hard to overtake here, and I think that was demonstrated by Subaru. What did you make of it, Jimmy?
It's a difficult one to call. Luckily, I'm not one of our stewards here, but that has pretty much put paid to BMW's effort here already. And all that work Nico Rubelard did in qualifying has been undone on the first lap. But in a sense, it does then release the rest of the cars back as well. Yeah, and as Chris points out, BMW now 9.5 seconds off the back of the field.
Well, they've got a big job to do. Nicolas Rubelard will be in the car for them next. So Okamoto, unfortunately, has now dropped all the way to the back of the field after that incident. Out for Lexus, Kawakami pulling away here. Toyota have come up to second place. Now, they made a mistake in the top 6 qualifier, but Toyota with Derouche going along. Let's have a look at what this is. This another replay?
Yeah, on board with Subaru, and they just that's a penalty every day of the week there for me. You can't do that on the first lap of a 7-lap race and expect to come away with nothing. And unsurprisingly, 5-second penalty given to Subaru, but it won't bring back BMW from that. So I'm sure there'll be some choice words between a couple of drivers after the race, but we'll leave that for now and focus on what is going on. Subaru are in 4th. They are behind Porsche and Toyota. Lexus with an early lead of about 2 seconds, so not a big gap so far. It's clear to see the soft runners have started to break away from the rest of the pack. In fact, if you look at the tyre strategy, soft, medium, hard, at the bottom, with the exception, of course, of BMW, who got fired off. But they are gaining back 2 seconds on Ferrari since we last looked.
Yeah, well, through this last sector alone, they were a second quicker than the guys on medium tyres. Nissan are next along, yet to serve their penalty. Then it's Mitsubishi, Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz, and the Dodge rounds out the top 10 at the moment. It's a shame to see some contact early on in a world final, but they know what's at stake, and Subaru perhaps just trying a little bit too hard there. A mistake, and they've punted Subaru off and down the back of the field. However, BMW, there's still a race on. They're now 7 seconds behind the Ferrari, who are on the hard tyre. We'll monitor their progress throughout the race. Let's concentrate on this battle, though. This is between some of our medium tyre runners. It's Mitsubishi, Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz, and the Dodge Viper behind that.
I've got to say, Chris, sorry to harp on about it, 5 seconds seems like a little bit of a let-off, get-out-of-jail-free car there for Subaru. I would have probably given them a bit more, but I'm not a steward, so I guess best not to dwell. I'm not sure where the penalty line is in this track. I think it's on the back straight. That'll where it would make much sense, but we'll get to that in a second. Look at this midfield battle, 8th, 9th and 10th on your screen right now. Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz and Dodge. The guys from Dodge are speaking to Turismo Vesta earlier on, and he said the 2 times fuel consumption really brought the Dodge Viper back into contention with the rest of his guys. Before, he was really worried about fuel consumption.
Well, the aforementioned Pinel, he's going out last, so he's going to wait to the end. Puskedu is out for them at the moment. There we can see some of the drivers that are out. So we've got Kobayashi out next for them, and then Pinel will be out last. So currently driving, as you can see to the top left of your screen, is Puskedu. Now some of these drivers are obviously here just for the manufacturer series, so this is kind of their chance to shine. They were watching the Nations Cup semi-finals yesterday. This is now their time to do their thing on the world stage. And Puskedu trying to do his best to get past these medium tyre runners ahead. We've kind of got 3 races going on, haven't we? We've got the race between the soft tyres, the races between the medium, and the races between the hard. Wow. Aston Martin, that was a mistake, was it? And our Mercedes-Benz going to get through. Ed Williams trying to make a place Don't think they've got through that.
They cut away at the wrong point there, Mr. Director. We were really getting into that.
Yeah.
We have 4 penalties to be served on
Subaru,
the back straight here. Here is one of them. Yes, the penalty line is up here. Let's see how this affects Subaru. They'll have to get off the throttle for 5 whole seconds, and they'll lose momentum all the way down the back straight. Now let's look in the background. There's the Beetle. So 3, 2, 1, 0. And here comes the Beetle. They will lose a place, I think, to VW, maybe to Nissan as well. And here comes the mighty Beetle, passed up into P4 on the soft tyres. Will Nissan follow through, I wonder? No, Nissan also had their penalty as well. Apologies. So here comes Aston, Mercedes and Mitsubishi. Dodge there in the background as well. We've got 4 cars all within half a second. Dodge going onto the grass. Not there, mate. They're now 3 wide coming down the straight on that one. Is Dodge going to pull by on the inside? Look at the grunt of the Dodge, the V10 versus V12 coming into the last part of the circuit now. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Dodge there. Last of the late breakers. What a great move there by the Dodge driver, showing the American grunt definitely has a place here at the Nordschleife.
Awesome stuff by the Dodge team. They're now up to 6th place as they head down the start-finish straight. So Busquedu there, who was once a couple of places down, has now moved his way up. So the Dodge team, they actually qualified in 10th place earlier, and this a very, very good start to the race for them. It's not even like they're passing teams that are on different strategies. They're passing teams that are running the exact same strategy as them. So Busquedu, a very, very good first lap for him. He's got another one now to try and clear some distance between himself and the Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz and Mitsubishi team. There you can see the rest of the drivers getting ready to go. Here we pick up Team Nissan, now having served that penalty. That's cost them a top 10 position. They're now down to 11th place. Just ahead of them is Team Honda, who are running the hard tyres. Leon Hart in the car for them at the moment. So Team Nissan with Ryoto Kokibun, the Asia Oceania Regional Finals champion in the Nation Cup, trying to get back up the order after that earlier penalty, Jim.
We didn't catch what it was for, but it looked like it was for a cut track, so maybe through the chicane. Was a little bit too enthusiastic through there at the point. Here comes now the Nissan coming around, not too far away to come on to the Nordschleife. Now in the slipstream of the Honda now. Honda is on the hard tyre and is the leader of the hard tyre at the moment. And here comes Nissan up the inside, and nice and easy on the way through. And make sure you get through the chicane properly here, Mr. Akagi. He does. Akagi, of course, his screen name. We know him best as Ryoto Kokibun, our Asia Oceania regional champion, and now he's on to the back of the rest of the medium runners. But unfortunately, he's on the Nordschleife. Overtaking here is extremely difficult unless you have quite a big advantage, or maybe a little bit more stupidity than braveness, I should say. Here is Mercedes-Benz. They are currently running 2nd of the medium runners, 7th overall position, and Dodge putting away, Chris.
Yes, they are. They are going along very well in the early stages here. Mercedes-Benz, we're looking at in 7th place at the moment. Ed Williams in the car for them. BMW have started their fight back. They've gained 2 places, passing both Citroen and Ferrari. So the fight back from BMW has begun. Let's see what they can do on this lap now. The next on the list for them will be Chevrolet, who are only 2/10 up the road.
Well, you're seeing the straight line deficit of the Mitsubishi here as Nissan has nowhere to go. Gives them a little bit of a bump draft, trying to help the Evo along in a straight line. Here comes our favourite turbo brick. No, doesn't go to the inside, stays behind for now. And you can see the amount of bodywork applied to that Group 3 Lance to bring it up to spec with the rest of the cars. BMW and Chevy side by side. BMW coming back through the field and back to where it was removed from the circuit rather rudely by the Subaru one lap earlier. Will it go up the inside? I think it will. Now we're going to go down, who you don't overtake at the Nordschleife unless you are Team BMW looking for redemption. Now back down the hill towards the Vauxhall and the compression down the bottom here. In real life, the car, you smash into the floor, you feel it in your back and you go flying back uphill, take a lot of curb on the left, and then try and slow it all down for other awkward mid-section. So, Aston Martin, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Honda, all on your screen right now. Mitsubishi still managing to hold off the might of the turbo brick Nissan. Again, Chris, kind of hard to find a place to get by over here.
It is. I mean, I think Chevrolet, Lewis Bentley out in the car, he's a very respectful driver, as we know from other events. I think he probably made that one purposely easy just to stop himself having to defend from BMW almost. But we are on board with Nissan. They picked up a penalty on the first lap. Rare mistake from Ryota Kokibun, but he's now trying to make some progress back. Here we have we can see, the team for
How about
Nissan.
that for a lineup,
We've got Mick Hizao, the European regional final champion, Igor Fraga, the Americas regional final champion. But they are coming up later in the race. Out first is our Asia Oceania champion, Kokibun. Right, let's see if they can pass Mitsubishi on this lap. Chase Garuda in the car for them at the moment. Had a chance to have a good chat with them, and they were feeling very confident. Although they did say, look, we're just here to enjoy the experience, so in a way we're not really too bothered where we're finished. But that approach may just work in their favour. They leave the door open. Nissan now dive down the inside. What a fantastic move from Kokibun.
That was absolutely beautiful. I've never seen anyone pass there, and to pass cleanly without contact is just a testament to the skill of our Asia Oceania regional champion. Now he is in hot pursuit of Aston Martin in front, and you see Mitsubishi again struggling in a straight line. It's in the slipstream with a Nissan, but doesn't quite have it, and Dodge and Mercedes are side by side as well, but the Mercedes not able to overcome the grunt of the V-turn Sailor, and he gets loose on the grass just saves it from going into a spin, and Mercedes moves up into P6.
And we saw Mick Hizao making his way onto the stage there. Second drivers are getting ready to take to the circuit. So, of course, you can do the maths. 2 drivers do 2 laps. 1 does 3 laps. So I think we're going to see a lot of teams coming in on this lap, particularly those out front on the soft tyre. Subaru are there in 5th place, just trying to chase down the VW. They are the last of the soft tyre runners. Miyazono in the car will hand over to Loro. That's the Subaru team we're referring to. When VW come in, they will hand over to Thiago Picat, the Brazilian driver. That's another close battle. This for 8th place, Jimmy.
I'll tell you what, I am absolutely loving watching Ryota Kokibun absolutely hustle that Nissan for the last part of the circuit. I've still got a smile on my face from that last overtake. I've never seen anything like it. And now he's putting his moves on the Aston Martin V12. Vantage in front, not quite close enough to do anything through here. Again, single line really for most of this circuit. You can't cut the corner on the inside here, but you could on the one before. Downhill now. You might recognise this camera angle if you watched any compilations on YouTube of people on track days being a little bit too over-enthusiastic. Coming up now with the hill. You see Mitsubishi has kind of pulled off a little bit. Aston Martin a bit slow there coming up the hill, but nowhere to go for the Nissan. Still struggling behind. Again, it's hard to overtake around here, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Kokibun.
This is the problem when you have a difficult qualifying session and then a penalty to add to that. But, as you said, they've already pulled off one fantastic move on this lap. Can they now do another? Nissan trying to look at the inside of Aston Martin, who are quite literally just blocking the middle of the circuit at the moment. We have a fight on for the lead here now. Toyota have closed the gap to Lexus. Lexus tyres have fallen off the cliff, it seems, and Toyota have this long straight. Can they take the lead of the world final? Toyota into the race lead, but Lexus will now dive back into the slipstream. So will we see 2 passes for the lead in one straight? It's happened before, and I think it's going to happen again, is it? Let's have a look. Lexus now trying to come back at Toyota. It is a drag race to the pit lane almost. Lexus just trying to make their way past Toyota, but I think Toyota might just hang on.
Yeah, just got in front there. Lexus tried to come back again, but thought better of it. We're going to see these guys, I think, coming to the pit lane now, end of lap 2. Let's see what happens. Pit lane, you pull over to the right-hand side of the circuit, and they don't. Yes. They stay out, I think. No, they're staying out on the soft tyre, so still going now. Lexus really pushing the Toyota, holding it to the inside. Look at the straight line speed. The Lexus temporarily back up into first place, but the next corner is a right-hander. Can the Lexus keep it? Can it keep it? It goes round the outside at T1 and takes back the lead. What a move by the Lexus.
Brilliant driving there from Team Lexus. They have now retaken the lead from Toyota, so Kawakami back into the race lead then. Second place, Toyota Derouche has now got to fight back on this lap. Lots of pit stops being made. We can see driver changes happening on stage. Mitsubishi in, BMW in, Mercedes-Benz in, Renault in, Nissan, Honda, Aston Martin, all into the pits. Likewise, Ferrari. So half the grid, if not more, have now all come in. Looks like everyone on the soft tyres and Dodge on the medium, and Mercedes-Benz, I think. Yeah, so 6 teams out, so the top 5 on softs, and then Dodge on the medium tyre.
Such a diverse lineup of drivers. We have YouTubers. We have Zev28, of course, here driving the Mitsubishi. Great to have him part of the competition. We have some drivers who have driven in real life. Igor Fraga, who's not yet in the car, but will be a bit later on. And interesting to see that Mick Hizal, the European regional champion, has been given the hard tyres to work his magic. And it will be down to Igor Fraga for Nissan to do the soft stint. Meanwhile, here is Subaru and Volkswagen. The little Beetle still out there on its soft tyres at the moment. And you're probably seeing something that doesn't quite make sense to you, and that is that people on hard tyres and mediums are pitted, whereas people on the softer compound that wears quicker have not, and that is just to have more time on the faster tyre. Only 2 times tyre wear around here, so the tyres do last for a fairly long time, longer than we're used to seeing in these competitions, of course. And it means that being on the hard tyre is not ideal. Now, BMW have moved on to the soft tyre, but they've lost a lot of time somewhere. I'm not quite sure what that's for, but now we have BMW coming around on the soft tyre. Let's see who's got into the car for that. That is Rubelar has got back into the car. So the man who just very recently nearly broke the 8-minute barrier around here is back in the car on soft tyres, and with 3 slower cars ahead, it's coming onto the Nordschleife. So he needs to make some moves very quickly if he wants to use a boat. That soft tyre is already popping out the inside of the Ferrari. Ferrari leaves the door open, and through he goes. He didn't need to be asked twice for that. Citroen in the wall on the outside as well, and BMW will get 2 for 1. Thank you very much, says Nico.
Brilliant driving there from Nico. Let's run through some of the drivers we got in the car then. So for Mercedes-Benz, Nick McMillan has gone in the car. For Aston Martin, it's Tom McPherson. Then we have for Team Nissan, Mick Hizal has jumped in the Honda. We've got Diego Rubelar, older brother to Nicolas Rubelar as well. Let's go back to the fight for the lead though, as Lexus still hassling the back of Toyota here. BMW, of course, we picked them up. They are on the move, but this is fight for overall lead at the moment. I thought Lexus had just dropped off, but that doesn't appear to be the case. They are now hanging with Toyota as we go on to the Nordschleife section. So Lexus doing a really good job here.
There are a couple of big gaps opening up, but bear in mind that all these guys in the top 5 need to pit and put on some slower tyres fairly soon. So our guys on the strategy will set about 6 seconds a lap between each tyre compound in the terms of pace. So soft about 6 seconds faster, medium about 6 seconds faster than hard. Here is Nissan and Mitsubishi once again close together on circuit. Of course, Mick Hizal in the car now on the hard compound of tyres. So, sorry, it's Jay Adams in the Mitsubishi. We have a replay here on the green. Oh!
Nissan.
Oh!
Nissan
what happened there?
I think off.
So that explains why he's back at Mitsubishi. Was there contact with Aston? We just caught the end of that on our screen there. We'll see if anything comes up in the top right-hand corner, but things go from bad to worse for Nissan. Down to 10th now.
Well, they are really struggling in this one. They've made some great moves, don't get me wrong, but underperforming over a whole is Team Nissan. Rare mistakes. Let's have another look, Jimmy.
We see... Mick. He just gets in the grass and does about 1 billion rotations on the way down to his eventual stopping place in the gravel trap. That is a very rare mistake from Mick Hizal, who will be very disappointed with himself there, but he'll brush himself off, get back up to pace, hopefully gain back some of that time he lost.
Be just trying too hard from these guys, who knows, but well, Lexus now trying to get past Toyota. Once again, we're going to return back to the fight for the lead, and at the moment Toyota just holding off Lexus. Lexus may wait for the long back straight and the run down towards the pits to make a move here. Porsche are in 3rd, then it's the VW in 4th, Subaru are 5th, and Team Dodge are in 6th. at the moment. Mercedes-Benz, the best of the rest, in 7th place out of those who have stopped. Here comes BMW. Nicolas Rubelar trying another move. This will be on Renault, and I think he's just going to power past. So BMW up another place. They are now up to 12th at the expense of Renault, who have Facu Dudelec in the car.
Right, now this is the important bit for BMW. They've got a little bit of clear air. They need to really get the pedal to the metal and get onto the back of Mitsubishi and pass as soon as possible. They want to salvage anything from this race. Of course, if you've just joined us, Team BMW started on pole position, but was, I think the right term is, punted off the circuit coming to the end of the first sector. He went from P2 all the way down to P16 and have been working their way back up ever since. Thank you so much for joining us. Over 3,500 watching right now in the YouTube chat, which is great for this series. So again, thank you so much for all being here. We have a couple of hashtags, hashtag FIA, I think it's FIA GTC and hashtag GT Sport. Let us know your thoughts on this race. We'd be glad to hear them. Which car would you like to be in if you were driving around this circuit? Let us know your thoughts.
Any preferences yourself, Jimmy?
Well, I actually signed on with Aston Martin for myself and my end, so I'd be driving the Aston around here, which seems to be doing okay at the moment in the middle. Of course, if I were driving it, it'd probably be somewhere off the back of the grid. But luckily I'm not, so we haven't got to think about that too much. And I've got to say, because I love watching the cars around here, Nordschleife is one of those circuits where a driver who is committed can really make up a lot of time.
Well, we're seeing that, I think, from the likes of BMW, who are just absolutely flying from the back of the field at the moment. And I think they're about to pass Mitsubishi, and is that a mistake from Volkswagen? It is. Subaru breezed past into 4th place. Fantastic driving that from Team Subaru. They are now up into 4th. Loro in the car for them at the moment, so the VW drops down to 5th place as we approach a pit stop, because 3 laps really is the maximum you can do before you have to hand over.
Now, we asked you guys what you would do for pit strategy before the race. We have I'm saying that wrong, sorry mate, I'll try and get that. It's a short shifting and fuel map usage, all important in fuel saving strategies. So a little bit of short shifting there being the idea. We have David Loff. He says that just push the car and spend the extra time gained refueling. It's about 3 seconds, I think, for 10 litres, I want to say, around here, something like that. I'm not quite sure what the fuel rate is. So doing that might be good in the short term, but when you come to the pit stop, not so much. We have Toyota and Lexus, our leaders, coming in to the pit stop there, changing the guard for Toyota. And Lexus also doing that. Who have we got in the car now, Chris?
So Toyota have Kajal going in. It's Rigu going in for Lexus. Subaru are into the pits, are they, as well? Loro, I think, jumping in for them. Then it's Volkswagen also into the pits. So Thiago Bicker and then Porsche as well into the pits. So it looks like Gonzaga will be out on track for them. So a lot of the leaders, basically everyone who went on soft tyres at the start, are now going in.
So we have our tyre strategy on screen for you guys in the bottom left-hand corner. As you can see, this is what we expect to see on the race. We thought we'd only see 2 laps out for soft tyre, but some people stretching it to 3. And again, as I said before, I think a lot of the guys just trying to spend as much time as possible on the faster tyre. Yeah. The hard tyre rallies want to try and stay off, which is, you think, oh, wait a minute, this is a kind of an endurance race. We expect it to run for about an hour or so. Why wouldn't you take the hard tyre? And as you saw on screen, 11.8 seconds between the soft and the hard. So that's why you don't take it. That's a lap. Yeah. And as you can see, some of the gaps opening up now. So Toyota and Lexus have now gone on to the slowest tyre. Let's see if the likes of Porsche and Volkswagen, even Dodge down there on the soft, can make back a little bit of time. Here is that VW. Chris, I think this is your choice, this car, isn't it? You like the Beetle, don't you?
I don't know. I've just fallen in love with the Beetle over the process of the Gran Turismo Championships. It's there's something about the Beetle, but I think it's a great little car and would probably be my choice, actually. Toyota and Lexus, because they've gone on to the hard tyre, we know it's pretty much a straight fight between those two teams. Team BMW are up to 10th, and it looks like they're about to go past Team Nissan, and we're just picking that one up now, Jimmy.
They are indeed, but I've just seen BMW pick up a penalty.
Yeah, penalty.
Where would that be from? It's only 0.8 of a second, and that will be served, I think, on the back straight here, running a bit wide, and that's something that shows that Nico is really pushing this car right now. Mick Kazal has taken the car up to 9th position, the Nissan that is, sorry, after a little bit of issues earlier on where he spun. And I think he put Tony Hawk to shame the amount of rotations he got coming down there, but he won't be happy to watch that back, I'm sure. But that BMW will be carrying that 0.8 per second penalty pretty much all the way around the lap now until we get to the back straight. I think we've already passed the first penalty zone. Though saying that he's really wanting to get past Nissan here, and Turbo Brick says no, sits on the apex. And in the front we have the Aston Martin. So both these cars, although the BMW is being held up, are catching the Aston in 8th position.
Yeah, Aston being caught here. In your opinion, who's running the best strategy at the moment? Is there a best strategy, or does it just depend on car and drivers you have available in your team? What do you think? Are the Toyota and Lexus teams, are they on the best strategy?
Well, right now, I think they've had the best form of luck, so to speak. You could say that the BMW was the best strategy, but we won't know because their strategy was taken with probably being at the top end of the grid in mind. You know, now they're having to fight through cars, which they really did not think. And of course, after qualifying was completed, that's when the driver orders were set. So the strategy is made for a different race to BMW. Toyota and Lexus so far doing pretty well, and I think trying to stay out of each other's way is a good idea too. Nissan having to kind of defend there from the BMW. We'll see if the BMW gets a good drive going down the hill. We did this before with the Corvette. Looks to the inside. Is he going to push the Nissan off? Oh, the Nissan just about hangs it round the outside there. The BMW almost doing to the Nissan what the Subaru did to it on lap 1. But Mick Kazal there holding station, stalwart in his defence. Nope, 9th is mine, he says.
Yeah, and BMW flashing the lights there. Nicholas Rubel saying, get out of the way. But that is Mick Kazal. He's a European regional final champion in the Nations Cup. He's not going to move aside for anybody. And not just that, BMW, of course, carrying that penalty as well. But this is ruining their strategy on the soft tyres, and they've run wide as well to make matters worse.
More importantly, Mick Kazal does not have to get out of the way. These guys are racing. If I were in next position, I'd be doing exactly the same, holding them up as much as possible, because that could help out towards the end. He is stopping the amount of time the BMW is using that soft tyre to its full effect, and therefore hopefully extending his gap towards the end of the race when the Nissan goes into the soft with Igor Fraga at the wheel. And we know what the Brazilian can do.
Yeah, well, Igor Fraga will be saved until last. Let's return to this battle between Lexus and Toyota. Has that just changed hands? I believe it has. So Lexus up into the race lead order. Let's get a replay.
Here we go. So here was Toyota, and I think they got a little bit loose coming out of the... no, they didn't. So it must have been down here at the downhill left-hander. Very easy to run wide here, understeers, as the road falls away from you. That's exactly what Toyota did. Carried too much speed, and Lexus goes, oh, that was easy, and just slipped through up into first. Will they pull away? Let's see.
Well, a lapse of concentration from Kazal there. Tomoaki Yamanaka is going to be jumping in for Toyota for the last stint. Here we go. We're side by side for 9th place, and BMW are through and into 9th past Nissan. So BMW up another place. They do have that penalty yet to serve, though. Next on their list is going to be the team Aston Martin. Tom McPherson in the car for them at the moment. So BMW now chasing 8th place.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of feedback in chat saying that Nissan needs to move over. Why?
What?
Well, do you guys know what racing is? Or you don't do that in racing. You see, the BMW was made to work for it and work for it. I'd say if there was a fight and it's being held up, so here is the move. Just better traction coming uphill there. Nissan gets from the curb a little bit loose. Nissan has to run. BMW has to run, sorry, and goes by, and that's it sorted out. And no cars lost time there in that move.
Well, the only way I'd say see it the same way as the viewers is if they were having to particularly defend. We'll come back to that though, because BMW are going to try and go all the way around the outside to take 8th place, and they are through. Fantastic driving that from BMW. 2 brilliant moves pulled off there, so BMW now into 8th.
That's how you overtake. There you go. The Aston Martin proved no challenge there for the BMW. Just shows you how hard Mick Kazal was pushing in that Nissan. Now he's having a go at the Aston in the background. Will he go to the inside uphill there? No, he's actually stuck to the rear bumper of the Aston. Doesn't think to go anything with it. Here is Toyota. They've fallen back even further now into the clutches of Porsche, who are on that medium tyre, Chris.
Yes, well, Toyota under pressure here for 2nd place, but Porsche, of course, on that medium tyre. This should be expected from them at this stage to get past Toyota on the hard tyre, and they are hassling Toyota at the moment. In the car for Porsche is Thiago Gonzaga, and let's see if he can get past the Toyota car towards the end of lap number 4.
Oh,
and a mistake!
Well, they were lucky not to spin there. They got a little bit wide, caught the gravel. That slowed them down, and Porsche slipped by like nothing happened whatsoever. Toyota having a bit of a tough time this lap around. It seems that they are struggling on the hard tyre compound from further back. Here's a replay. Toyota just a little bit too fast, and they had to understeer. Somehow managed to keep it from going further into the gravel and only lost one place.
Now Joseph Loro is closing in that Subaru, but I think we are about to hand over to Julia with one of the drivers for an interview.
Hey, so how are you doing? I have to say, this must be difficult to sit and watch.
It's really difficult, yes, because I'm not controlling the situation actually. As I'm watching my teammate, and I wish him the best. It looks like he's under pressure, but for the moment it's still okay.
So you're not relaxed at all right now?
No, not at all. I mean, I think I did the stint of my life. I've never driven with that intensity. I was shaking like this behind the wheel, and I'm really happy with my stint.
I mean, how do you prepare for this? Because you can't. Everyone is from a different country, and you can only practice at home. How do you prepare?
Well, I tried to prepare the best I could. I just made a lot of laps, learning the track and working on the pace in race. And I think I did a pretty good job, so yes.
It's different when you're up here, right?
Yes, there's a lot of pressure. At home you are... Yes, exactly.
All right, well, look, congratulations so far. I won't disturb you anymore. Let's chuck it back to our commentators.
Well, while we were talking to Julia there, we missed a little bit of action on track. It was a BMW's penalty being served. That allowed both both Nissan and Aston Martin to get back through temporarily. They now put into the pit lane. That would have been very sad for BMW to have that go all over again. But now Nico R has been released. He now has a clear track in front of him and can hopefully, for his sake anyway, pull back a little bit of time. Here is Team Ferrari, who are up to 8th position. They still have a pit stop at this point. Started last of everybody, but doing their best job to keep things going. So Mercedes have gone onto the soft compound of tyre, and that is Nakao driving at the moment. So the Japanese driver getting in. Here is Lexus and Porsche now. They're squabbling for the lead. Porsche on the medium tyres. They have the advantage. Come watching Tibor Fraga, the Nissan driver there. Can't quite match up what's going on, I'm afraid. What's going on the screen? Oh, sorry, but Porsche...
Well, I'll take over from you there because Jimmy's just died. But Porsche have just gone in, or at least challenging for the race lead there as they go through the chicane. And Porsche taking the lead of the race. I was going to say retaken, but Toyota, of course, have dropped away from this. Porsche on the medium tyre now into the race lead of the Manufacturer Series World Final and back for the dead. Jimmy, what did you think of that?
That was...
I mean, I think you actually fallen under the table.
That wasn't very pleasant there. Don't breathe is what I've learned from that. But yeah, Porsche through, and now they need to really make the most of having a clear track ahead on those medium tyres and just get some time between themselves and Lexus. The bigger the gap, the better for the end of the lap. Here is Subaru and Toyota close together. So Toyota falling yet further back. Bear in mind, they were challenging for the lead just this time last lap, and now they're being harried for 4th position.
Yeah, Toyota really struggling. Kajal now starting to struggle on those hard tyres. I think we're seeing the mixture in strategy now, because look down the back of the order. Mercedes, Aston Martin, Nissan, Renault, Mitsubishi, Chevrolet, Honda, Citroen, all on the soft tyre for 3 laps to end this world final race. But this is the battle for third we are looking at the moment. It is Toyota we are on board with versus Subaru. And just look to the bottom right of your screen. It's 6th gear as they now head up towards, it's a left that comes next to it. I always forget this track. And into the tight right-hander where we've seen a lot of action going on today.
That's why you're not a driver, Chris. You don't know where you're going.
I mean, that's why I spun, I think, 4 or 5 times when I did this track earlier.
It was fairly entertaining watching Chris try and work his way around. Here is the BMW, currently with Nico R at the wheel. He's already taken 2 seconds out of Dodge in front and trying to work his way back up after the incident at the start of the race. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you here for this, the final, the world final of the Manufacturer Series, the FIA GT Championship, currently being led by Team Porsche from Lexus, Toyota. They make up your top three. In fourth, it's Subaru, fifth, Volkswagen, and sixth, Dodge. And you're seeing that battle on screen right now. Dodge actually right on the bumper of the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen tends to be a bit quicker in the corners, whereas the Dodge, as we've seen, is an absolute brute on the straights and probably waiting for his chance to pass when they get to the uphill section a bit later on in the lap.
Well, they'll be coming in to the pits at the end of this lap, and that was a challenge almost. Well, I thought Dodge were about to make their move for fifth place as they came downhill, but Dodge not quite able to get through. The Volkswagen struggling at this stage now, and they are on the medium tyre. Dodge, of course, on the softer tyre, so wanting to get past as soon as possible and maximise those soft tyres before they have to get rid of them. We've had a spin for Toyota. Hopefully we get a replay. Here it is.
Here it is then. So Subaru in the background, Dodge coming down to the slowest corner on the circuit. I've spun here a couple of times in the past, and yes, goes in too hot, gets on the grass on the inside, can't slow down, you can't brake on the grass, you go straight. That's what happened to Toyota there, and it's just gone from bad to worse, really. Who do we have in the car for Toyota right now?
We have
Kajal in the car at the moment. He's not been having a good time, and now he's going to have an even worse time. Here comes Volkswagen and Dodge. They both want a piece of a Japanese manufacturer. VW looks to the inside, tries to emulate Kokuben a couple of laps previous, but doesn't quite manage it. Now, watch that Dodge. V10, American Fury, I'd say, in the background there. Probably just going to pull past the poor little Beetle up the hill. But right now, actually, the Beetle seems to have legs on its own. It's actually pulling away from the Dodge. What's in that Beetle?
Well, Kobayashi is the one trying to chase that Beetle down at the moment. So Kobayashi in the Dodge. There you go. As they make their way through the fast right-hander. Toyota having to defend from Volkswagen here. Volkswagen trying to get by. Dodge in the background. This could end in tears with all four manufacturers battling away on lap number 5 of this world final race. And Subaru almost challenged there, almost forced into a mistake by Toyota, but they sit in behind for now.
So we're going to have 4 cars coming together on track. You're batting for the podium in the background. Look who's in the background. Look who's caught up.
Well,
there was a 10-second gap at the start of this lap. It's down to 4 seconds. Nico R. Rubelar in the background is gaining rapidly on this pack. And you're seeing there on screen, please refuel on Nico R. So he is really pushing the limit of what this BMW is going through. He'll be in the end of this lap, so he needs to really make the most of these soft tyres now. I can't believe he's made up so much time. The Chilean driver showing why he was one of the best ranked drivers in the Americas region right now. And this battle for third is about to become a 6-car race.
It is indeed. This now on board with Nicolas Rubelar in that 7th place. 1.3 seconds behind this battle now. We're on board with Rubelar as he chases down this trio. Running it a little bit wide there, but gets away with it for the time being, just maximising the track. Oh, no!
Come on, Nico.
Oh, what a good save that was.
Come on, mate, don't push it too hard. Now you have a little bit of an advantage. Use that slipstream down the straight, get past these guys, get in the pits and get to the end of this race. But what a recovery. He's looking to run a pass on the outside. Don't be doing that there, mate. But here are the Subaru seem to have pulled away slightly. Dodge slow there. Nico's going to go round the outside. Oh, my goodness. How has he managed that? Nico R. deals with the Dodge. Volkswagen next, Nico. What have you got left?
Let's see what he can do then with the VW and the Toyota, if he can get there. Nico Rubelar trying to make his way back up the order after they dropped all the way down to last place after an incident with Subaru on the opening lap. Is he going to dive to the left-hander? He is! He goes up the inside of VW. There's a bit of contact, but BMW are into 5th place. Well, you shook your head there, Jimmy. What did you think? Was that, how did he do that, or a little bit too much contact?
A little bit robust for my liking, but we'll leave that to the stewards. Next up, Toyota. Nico R. with a fantastic recovery stint. He's going to have a slipstream. Will we pass the Toyota before we get to the gantry? Here we go, then pulls to the right. No! He's going to push the Toyota down the straight. The bump draft I think he's trying to actually save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah.
He is right on the edge of fuel right now, though. Saying that, look, his right foot is planted to the throttle, and look to the right, here comes the Volkswagen again, the power from the Beetle. I need to know the engine supplier of that. It's absolutely ridiculous coming down the straight. You see the Subaru in the foreground, Beetle, Toyota in the background, M6, Dodge Viper. Here we go then, coming down the hill. Beetle and M6 side by side. Nico R will be the latest of the late breakers. I can tell you that right now. Comes in behind the Toyota. Not quite able to take it up to 4th place, but he'll now peel into the pit lane and hand over to the last BMW driver. Here we go.
It's fair to say he's done a good enough job, and Zoka is going to now jump into the car next. A bit of a handshake between the two. Rubilar gets out to a round of applause from the rest of the drivers. Well done, Nico Rubilar. Fantastic stint from him, and I think he's going to get ready to speak to Matt. So I think we will now hand over to Matt to speak to Nico Rubilar after that fantastic second stint.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Nico, first of all, well done. That was an incredible drive.
Thank you. Yeah.
Tell us about your fuel strategy there, because you were very low and obviously you had some real pace. Fuel?
Yeah, I was basically I was pushing so hard, like no strategy, just pushing forward.
So you weren't trying to save fuel in the slipstream just then down the straight?
No, if I try to overtake, the Beetle behind will overtake me because I don't have the same top speed as for example, the Toyota or the Beetle. So I would be overtaken.
Okay, and now how are you feeling about your chances of winning this race, you guys here in BMW?
I think we can make top 10 in this situation. I think we can stay on top 10.
Great drive, Nico. Well done.
Thank you.
So great to hear from Nico R. They come back to a battle between Subaru and Dodge, and Subaru going up the inside of the American manufacturer, getting that done nice and easily. Toyota wants a piece as well, coming up to the Schumacher S. No, not right now. Subaru, Dodge and Toyota is the order. Here comes Nissan and BMW and Aston Martin going side by side. BMW actually losing a few places there, unsurprisingly, to the soft runners, and is trying its best, I think, to try and stand its ground. Here comes Mitsubishi past as well. BMW down into 10th position. You've seen the difference that tyres make around here. All the drivers going on through the soft compound are the ones to watch out for. And guess who is the leader of that pack, or very near the front of that pack right now, is the Nissan driver, Igor Fraga. He has a mountain to climb if he wants to try and come back. He has about, it's about 11, for about 15 seconds, sorry, even more than that, about 20 seconds to the front of the field. But we'll see what he can do.
Well, we will find out in just 2 laps. We'll go through the order now. Porsche lead on the hard tyre. Then it is Lexus, Subaru, Toyota, Dodge, Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Aston Martin, Mitsubishi and Chevrolet in 10th place. 6th to 10th, all on the soft tyres. Jimmy, looking at tyre wear, looking at strategy, who is in contention for the win here?
It's between Porsche and Lexus, I think, at the moment. Porsche will drop back into the clutches of Lexus. Lexus being on the quicker medium tyre at the moment. You can see the gap, even while we're speaking, Chris, is coming down little by little. So Lexus really looking very strong at the moment. But of course, as the famous commentator once said, catching someone is one thing, getting past is quite another.
We now go on board with Tomoaki Yamanaka. There he is, to the bottom left of your screen, chasing down the Subaru. Oh, and gives him a bit of a helping hand down the straight. Yamanaka is not in the mood to be waiting around here. He's going to look to the outside, is he, Yamanaka? Trying to get past Team Subaru at the moment, who have Kokalainen in the car. Can he get past? Oh, we've got a huge fight going on in the background. Nissan have got up to 5th place, have they? Yes, there is Igor Fraga now in 5th place. Mercedes-Benz have just gone up to 7th place, have they? Then we have Mitsubishi in 8th place as well. So this battle contains Fraga. Then we have the Aston Martin, Mercedes-Benz and Mitsubishi as well. Imai is in that Aston Martin. Mercedes-Benz is Nakao, and they are side by side. Oh, well, Aston Martin up to 6th, but almost 4 wheels off in the process.
No, I've been saying the entire time that we've seen Igor Fraga on circuit, give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and there he is already pulling away from the Aston Martin. There is a strong chance here that Nissan could end up on the podium of this race after starting from P7 on the field. Look at the Brazilian driver streak away from the group now. We have 6, 7th and 8th squabbling. They don't want to be doing that. You can see 3rd and 4th visually getting closer now in the background of your picture. And here is Mercedes. They were the loser of that little scenario there. They were actually the leaders of the soft runners, and now down to 4th in that little competition there. So to say, a Mercedes-Benz giving a penalty to add to their woes. They're going to lose 2 seconds. And Igor Fraga, look at the pace of the Brazilian driver right now, Chris.
That is not Igor Fraga, we can see to the bottom left of your screen, but I'm sure when we do pick him up, you'll see that he is fully focused and not in the mood to wait around at all. He is chasing a podium finish in the Manufacturer Series World Final. Of course, to do that, he'd have to close a 12-second gap to Subaru in about a lap and a half or so, but if anyone can do it, Igor Fraga can do it. We'll have to wait and find out. It might just be a little bit too much of well, there they are. That is, Subaru, sorry. That was a mistake on my part. They're 11 seconds back from Lexus, so if he wants a top 2 finish, that would be the gap he has to climb, but to get to the podium, it's only 1 second away.
Well, the general consensus in the YouTube chat is that Igor Fraga is OP. Please, Nerf and Toyota making their way past Subaru. This will only benefit Nissan if they're fighting, but it's a clean overtake, no time lost for either or. Subaru off the podium for now, and Toyota back up into 3rd position. So, good overtake there from the Japanese manufacturer. 3 Japanese manufacturers in a row at the moment, 3rd, 4th and 5th as they come into your picture. Now we're coming up to the carousel. You really need to get the car onto the paved section on the inside here. Very easy to kind of pop out and lose a lot of time. Here is Porsche. They're currently leading. Yeah, the gap was about 6 seconds when they came back onto the tyres. Now it's down to under 2.
Yeah, it's really coming down. Let's see, Lexus have Tyrell Meadows in the car, the American, and he is really closing down that Porsche at the moment. We go back to Nissan, they're challenging for 4th place. Can Igor Fraga get through? Yes, he can. Fantastic driving there. Nissan now up to 4th. Podium just up the road for them.
No one is going to halt the charge of the America's champion, Igor Fraga. Let's take another look at that. Just get side by side, goes, I'm taking that, whatever you like. Through he goes. Now, Chris, I don't like to play devil's advocate, but what if Porsche and Lexus maybe have a little bit too much time coming together there? We have 2 cars behind charging, both Toyota and Nissan. This win is far from secure for Porsche or Lexus. The gap now down to under a second as we come to the last part of the circuit. All about having tyre life and grip through here. It's like a roller coaster when you drive it for yourself. And right now we have Lexus and Porsche going along for the ride. Lexus coming back down the hill. You can see in front the Porsche just losing time visually every time we look back at the screen. Now down to half a second. Chris, straight coming up. What do you reckon?
Well, Fonseca's going to have his mirrors full very shortly in that Porsche from this man here on the bottom left of your screen. That is the American, Tyrell Meadows, in the car for Lexus, and he knows that he can get the slipstream to get into the lead of the World Final here if he just stays with Porsche and makes absolutely no mistakes. Let's wait to see if the lead is going to change hands. Can Lexus get back that lead that they have had for quite a long time in this race? Long straight now up. It's going to be a drag race down to the end of it.
Here are the drivers from Team Lexus. We've seen Kawakami and Rizal drive so far. That isn't Kawakami on stream there. But now it's Meadows in the car at the moment for Lexus in the slipstream. Pulls out past the Porsche. And that is that game, set, and match. Lexus, if they can stay ahead, now they're going to have the tyre advantage, and they need to pull away because behind both Toyota and Nissan. And speaking of the devil, here is Nissan again up the inside of the Toyota. Igor Fraga onto the podium and now has 9 seconds between him and the Porsche. And the reason why that is significant is because roughly on time, these soft tyres are about 11 seconds a lap faster than the hard tyres. We could still see a change for the lead here, Chris. We're now coming on to the final lap. Lexus leading from Porsche, but Nissan is charging.
I almost want to just stay on board with Nissan for this whole lap to see how hard they push. Igor Fraga is going to be foot to the floor now. He's past Toyota. Forget about them. He is on the softer tyre. He's on the soft tyre. They are on the medium tyre, but a bit of contact there. Toyota just getting their braking a little bit wrong. Oh, and Nissan light up the tyres out the corner, and our Toyota going to breeze past into third. They're banging doors as they head into the left-hander, but Nissan just about hang on for now.
This doesn't need to be happening for Igor at the moment. Yamanaka really giving that Nissan a hard time. He knows if Igor gets away, that is it. He will not catch him with the tyres he's on. Coming down to the hairpin, Yamanaka's probably last chance now to get by. No, he's not close enough. Still gives the Nissan a little bit of a biff. Getting a little bit touchy-feely is Yamanaka. I wouldn't really want to be doing that too much. It'd be very unpopular very quickly. Now the Schumacher S. And the gap between Nissan and Porsche, 8.5 seconds. Lexus already has a 2-second lead, though. It seems that the Yamanaka is still trying to harry the Nissan. I don't think he's going to be quite close. In fact, drove from a straight line is an absolute rocket, it seems.
Well, these two are two of the best in the world, not only in manufacture, but in nations as well, as they come up to the chicane, and it's almost a battle of pride as well as a battle for third place for their respective manufacturers. But Igor Fraga, I think now we're getting into the Nordschleife section, should have more of an advantage, Charlie. Toyota look to the outside there. Can they make a move? Nissan. Oh, and a big moment for Toyota there. Has that now released Nissan to go off and chase a potential second place?
A little bit of a respite. The Nissan seems to be really struggling on those soft tyres. I think Igor might have pushed too hard early on. Regardless, even with this going on, they are still catching the Porsche. Gap is down to 7 seconds now.
Look at Aston Martin and Mitsubishi there, Jimmy. Aston Martin closing in. They have Imai in the car. Mitsubishi, Shogo Yoshida in the car for them. They are both closing in on soft tyres, so 4 in the fight for third place here. And not too far behind that, we have Subaru as well in 7th place. We have Kokalainen now.
Here we go then, Mitsubishi right in the slipstream. Subaru and Chevrolet will go under investigation, but we'll come back to that when we know more. Aston Martin is going to not have to defend through here, over the flue plats, round the long right-hander, just about flat if you're on a soft tyre. Anything else is a bit of a lift. Mitsubishi, we know they struggle a bit in the straight line, but they are being towed along by the Aston Martin mighty V12 engine powering that car in front of Bush's Racing Green. Still a shred of pride that goes by, but right now still in 5th position. Toyota looking at Nissan again, it seems. The gap down again to less than a 1/10 of a second. Guys, work together. You are catching the Porsche in front. Settle it on the straight, my guys. If you're going to have a crash now, it's going to just upset everything. But Toyota, Yamanaka, we know him. He pushes hard. He's not a driver to do things by half. Almost has a look there, going over the brow of the hill. And Subaru with a penalty for 2 seconds. That will put them down a bit further. But right now, the battle raging between 3rd and 4th.
The gap has stabilised to Porsche at around 5.5 seconds, but there is one spot left on the podium. It is currently in the hands of Nissan and Igor Fraga. However, Team Toyota just in behind, of course. They are on the medium tyre, but behind that, Aston Martin and Mitsubishi, who surely will work together, could close in come the end of the lap as well. So 4 in the fight here. It's two groups of 2 at the moment, but that could change very, very soon because Yamanaka hassling Igor Fraga in that Nissan.
That Toyota just has more pace at the moment. It is faster. You can see Yamanaka up in the top left-hand corner with very aggressive driving style from him, soaring away at the wheel. And I really think, Chris, that Igor Fraga has burnt those soft tyres. He should be putting away. He has the tyre advantage, but he is not. Every time he starts to, Yamanaka just reels him back in once more. Chris, the gap to Porsche down below 4 seconds. We can see them in the distance there. There is Porsche. And when we get to the end of this lap, it's going to be, I don't know how many cars are involved. I think it's down to Mitsubishi. It's going to be a 5-car scrap for second place. There is Porsche. Look in the background. There's a Nissan. There's a Toyota.
Well, Fonseca in the car for Porsche, the Portuguese driver. I think he is going to be feeling very, very nervous at the moment. And there he is on screen. The bottom left of your picture now, you can see the driver in for Team Porsche. But the gap is now less than 3 seconds. It's getting closer and closer. There will then be 2 spots available on the podium. There must have been a mistake from Toyota because Nissan have broken clear and Toyota now have Aston Martin and Mitsubishi to deal with.
The Porsche will know the Nissan is coming. It also know it's bringing the Toyota, the Aston and the Mitsubishi with it. This could go from bad to worse. Igor Fraga, no time for focus on what's at hand coming through the carousel. There's the Porsche in front. He can now see the driver he's chasing. And Chris, you'll know as a real-life driver that when you see the guy in front, that's it. Extra gear engaged. Off he goes.
Yeah, as I was doing in the commentators race, head down, basically. Nissan chasing Porsche here. Oh, and a little bit of a wobble going through the flat-out left-hander there. They can see him in the distance, and Igor Fraga looks very, very calm as well. Fonseca, there he is. He is in second place for Porsche at the moment. Behind, we've still got Toyota in fourth. We've still got Aston in fifth and Mitsubishi in sixth. Those are the teams battling it out for the podium positions. Lexus, we haven't talked enough about them, but they are gone. It's the fight for third place.
You see again as we get through this section, heavy on the tyres, the Nissan struggling once more. It's going to be anybody's game on the straight. They're going to be all over the back of each other. There is Porsche again. Can the Porsche driver hold on? I don't know if they can. The gap is now 2.3 seconds. I think Igor Fraga has absolutely destroyed those soft tyres. He's got nothing left. Toyota is stuck up behind, as is Aston, as is Mitsubishi. Rare to say this, but Igor Fraga is the head of the train right now, catching air as they come through the last section, and still the gap comes down to the Porsche. 2 seconds. It needs to be closer. It needs to be closer coming onto the back straight, or this won't happen.
Well, here we go. It's all going to come down to that back straight. If Nissan don't close in, then they're going to have to deal with this. Toyota, Aston Martin and Mitsubishi all in behind. We can see Igor Fraga on the bottom left of your picture. The gap is now only 1.5 seconds to that man there on screen. Tomoaki Yamanaka out for Porsche. Here we go. Are we about to go onto the straight? I think we are. And it looks like Nissan may just be close enough to pick up a toe from Team Porsche here. Can Nissan do this? Can they get it to second? Or can Toyota, Aston Martin and Mitsubishi spoil the party? It's going crazy here around the stage, Jimmy. Here we go.
Here comes Toyota in the slipstream of a Nissan. It's split side by side. This is still about. There's a Porsche in front. They're going to be free wide. Nissan pulls out temporarily up into second place. Toyota goes round the outside of both of them. Yamanaka in the Toyota up into second position. Igor Fraga remains in third, but now he'll have the slipstream coming downhill.
Look at the
Aston Martin trying on the Nissan too. Igor raises his hand. He's pushed out. Igor Fraga in the Nissan is down to fifth place. Toyota are going to come home in second, it seems, but Lexus, while all this is going on, are the FIA GT World Final champions in the Manufacturers Series. But look to the background. Toyota and Yamanaka second, Aston Martin third, Mitsubishi fourth, Porsche in fifth, and a disgruntled Igor Fraga, I think, has run out of fuel. Heartbreak for the Nissan team, but oh my word, Chris, this series never fails to deliver fantastic action. And I think I'm probably going to pass out in a minute.
Well, you go and do that, because I'm going to go through the order. Tyrell Meadows has brought the car home for Lexus in the lead. This is the replay then, so this on board with Nissan as they were in the slipstream of Toyota. And let's see, I think that's when they ran out of fuel, actually, because there goes Aston and there goes Mitsubishi. Heartbreak for Nissan. Well, they gave it everything. You can't say they didn't take a risk. They took a risk. Unfortunately, it backfired, but Team Lexus take the race win and the Manufacturers Series world title. They are the first ever world final winners in the FIA Gran Turismo Manufacturers Series world final. Well, what a fantastic race it was. Round of applause all round for not just our winners and podium finish, but all the drivers as well.
Yeah, 4,500 of you witnessed the end of that race. And to anyone who says that virtual motorsport can't be as exciting as the real-life counterpart, I offer you this as my argument.
Well, I think we're getting ready for an interview, actually, with Team Lexus. Kawakami, Rijal and Tyrell Meadows went out for them. But before we speak to our world final winners and how much they feel, let's look at some replays from what was a fantastic race. Here we go.
So you can see, again, the intensity of this. And, of course, we have the drama at the start. Team Lexus early on showing their speed, getting past BMW, qualified pole on the grid. And then this happened. Subaru and BMW came together, and the pole sitter was relegated into the gravel. And look at this. Look at the reaction there. No surprise to see that aggression. I'd exactly be the same there. Here was Toyota there early on, showing their speed, getting past Lexus on the straight. Lexus thought about coming back at them, but thought better of it and tucked in behind, going down to second. But the lead was short-lived.
Yeah, because that was a mistake, a big mistake made by Toyota, and Lexus said thank you very much and helped themselves to the lead. And that kind of started off Toyota going down the order. That was them losing yet another position as they dropped to third place. Then we had Lexus and Porsche battling away for the lead, and Porsche breezed through to take the lead at the chicane. This was Lexus then fighting back a little bit later into the race as Tyrell Meadows in the car went back into the lead.
Here was Nissan on the back of Toyota, and then a heartbreak for Igor Fraga. The fuel ran out just almost with the finish in sight, and of course, Nissan lost a ton of positions. But it was Lexus who came across to claim the crown as manufacturer's champion. Look what it means there to Meadows. Absolutely great to see that reaction. You can see all our drivers down there now, I think, having a little bit of a breather. I think you're going to need one after that. I know I need one anyway.
Well, I think we're getting ready to speak to our world final winners. Actually, we've got Kawakami, Rijal and Tyrell Meadows. I think we are going to go down to them now as they are with Julia.
Wow. I am quite on edge after watching all of that. How are you guys feeling?
Well, I think very relieved because it's the accomplishment of more than 1 year of work, and I feel very proud for my teammates also because they did a really great job. And when you race in a team, you don't want to ruin your teammates' chances, so it puts even more pressure on you.
I mean, how much of it is a difference between just playing your PlayStation at home and being up on that stage?
Well, on the stage, everyone is shaking, and there's a lot of lights, cameras, even sometimes the photographers came in front of you. You have not to be disturbed by that. Whereas at home, you're on your own and just drive.
So how do you feel like your strategy paid off? What do you think? What were the good decisions that you made in that?
Obviously, the tire strategy was key. Having a teammate starting first and having a really first good stint was really good for us. And just staying clean, staying out of trouble, and having a strong race was what was key, and we did it. Couldn't do without these two.
He's just too cool. He's well cash about the whole thing. How do you feel?
I cannot believe it. I'm very, very happy. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Let's chuck it back to our commentators to see how the race went.
Well, what a fantastic race from Lexus. I think it's time to take a look at their race because there was so much going on up and down the order. Of course, we had the drama with BMW. We had Nissan trying to come back through the field. But let's now take a look at the highlights from our race winners, Lexus, and see how their race unfolded. So I think we've got a replay of them here actually taking the lead. This was the move on the first lap. Of course, in the top 6 qualifier, they qualified second, and then they took advantage of that grid position and went into the lead on lap number 1 past BMW.
At this point, that pass was essential because BMW were on the medium tyres and they would have been held up all the way through the Nordschleife if they had not got past nice and quickly. You can see here, this is where Toyota went off. Coming down the hill, Lexus just swooped on by, got the position back, and then from then on tried to pull away. There is Meadows there looking very deep in concentration. You can see here on the straight where Porsche did have the lead temporarily, but Lexus did have the tyre advantage, used it, caught up to the back of the German manufacturer and pulled by on the straight, and that was, as they say, is that. Lexus led from there, managed to steer clear of any trouble, very little mistakes, and here is their reward, the Manufacturers Series Championship.
Well, and that was the moment Tyrell Meadows crossed the line, fist in the air, and his teammates straight up. Fantastic performance from all 3 drivers, Kawakami, Rijal and Meadows. They were well clear of the rest of the field and the chaos that was going on behind, and emerged from that chaos. Team Toyota were second, Aston Martin third, Mitsubishi were fourth, then it was Porsche in 5th place. 6th place was Mercedes-Benz, and that was your top 6 teams. We had Chevrolet was in 7th place and Renault were in 8th. So that's the top 8 positions from our Manufacturer Series World Final, the first World Final, of course, and Lexus emerge your champions.
Tell you what, I've got a question for you, Chris. It's a very tough one.
Okay.
Driver of the day.
That is very, very difficult, actually. Not too sure, because you could look at that in many ways. You could look at that who provided the most entertainment, who provided the most drama, but then sometimes the driver of the day is just someone who, you know, stays hidden and does a good job for the team. But for me, Nicolas Rubelat. He put in a fantastic stint from BMW and got a big round of applause from all the drivers when he came off.
I think we have to agree with that. I think Nico are definitely the driver of the day for me. But that is it for us here in the commentary booth. I hope very much you enjoyed that. We have one more day of action coming tomorrow for the Nations Cup final. Make sure you're here for that. But now we're going to go over to the podium.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. That was absolutely exhausting. That was shattering, wasn't it? Third place trophy then. Congratulations to Aston Martin, a team of Jonathan Bucher, Tom Compton McPherson, and Agustin Cajal. To be presented by Shu Yoshida, the president of SIE Worldwide Studios. Well done, guys. And second place, it was Agustin Cajal for Toyota in second place, Ryan Derwish and Tomoaki Yamanaka. And your winners of the FIA Certified GT Championships 2018 Manufacturers Series, representing Lexus, Tyrrell Meadows, Vincent Rijo, and Kanata Kawakami. And to present the trophy for third place, please welcome the president of SIE Worldwide Studios, Shu Yoshida. Presenting the trophy for second place, the head of brand at the FIA, Stefan Filast. And first of all, for the winning team, the Watchers, on behalf of TAG the official timing partner of GT Sport, presented by Olivier Vollery of TAG. And finally, the winner's trophy to be presented by who else but the producer of the Gran Turismo series, Katsunori Yamauchi. And your respect, please, for the national anthem of the winning manufacturer, Lexus.
such a great day of racing. I mean, you'd think that, you know, having a longer race wouldn't be as exciting. Everyone was on the edge of their seats all the way through that. Have you enjoyed today, Matt?
It was incredible. Just a longer race just meant more excitement, didn't it? Right from the start with the BMW spinning and the penalties, and obviously the crash for Mikael Hizal. Nobody saw that coming. You know, we had a real upset here in lots of ways, and those three guys there fully deserve it, not just for the endurance race that they put in here in Monaco, but as the guys said as well, all the effort they put in over the past 12 months or more, virtually a whole life playing Gran Turismo, and now they get this moment. It's great for them.
That's exactly it. You come and you watch the racing that happens today, and you forget how much hard work and how many hours are dedicated to getting to this moment, getting the chance and the shot to be on this podium, and you can see how much it means to all of them.
It's great. You know, some of these guys didn't even qualify for their regional finals. You know, the guys who were taking part in the Manufacturers' Cup today, they're so focused on doing the job for the manufacturers, and now they're reaping the rewards, and they fully deserve it. It was a great spectacle. And once again, like you said, Julia, even though it was an endurance race, it had every bit of excitement and drama that we've seen in the Nations Cup and the repechage races so far.
Well, speaking of the Nations Cup,
Indeed.
that will be coming to you tomorrow at 6 p.m. CET. If this hasn't been enough racing, and frankly it hasn't been enough for me because it's been nail-bitingly close, come and join us again tomorrow where we'll bring you more from the FIA Certified Gran Turismo World Championships. But from now, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Tomorrow, guys. Thanks for joining. Well done.